Thank you, Ethan. I'm Rabbi Sue from Hillel, one of the Jewish student centers on campus.
Yes, Sue.
Woo.
Let's go!
I hear around us, we might want to try to ignore it, but when we hear people around us who call out for our destruction, what are we going to do? We're going to say we're going to be louder and we're going to be prouder, because that's what we have to do when cowards try to take us down. We have to be prouder. So let's all together one more time as loud as you possibly can. Am Yisrael Chai!
Am Yisrael Chai!
Welcome to all of you. I'm absolutely overwhelmed to see so many people here tonight. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. We're here together in fear, sadness, vulnerability, pain, and anger. Anger that, again, the Jewish people, there are those that are out to destroy us, and we will not let them. Our gathering shows today that we will not stand idly by, and it gives us the opportunity to come together as a community in support and caring, and to show our love and our support for Israel. This summer I was in Israel 2 times, and when I'm in Israel, ironically, it's the only time that I feel completely safe as a Jew. During the second trip to Israel, we had a speaker who explained something that I hadn't thought about in a long time. He stated that as an Israeli Jew, he has nowhere else to go. Jews in Israel are living in our homeland and see Israel as deeply tied to our Jewish identity. We as Jews have no other homeland. We don't have anywhere else to go, as we were reminded shortly before the Holocaust began with the Evian Conference, when every country in the world was invited to take Jews in, and every country refused, and there was no Israel then. So we have to have Israel as our homeland. Israel was reinstated as a Jewish state in 1948 after almost 2,000 years of exile from the land that we yearned for and lived in from 1400 BCE in the time of the Bible until 70 CE. In every Jewish prayer service for at least 2,000 years, we faced Jerusalem, we've prayed for peace, and we've prayed to return to our homeland Israel. And finally, in 1948, we were returned. I actually remember a long time ago, showing my age now, I was sitting in synagogue as a child when the Yom Kippur War broke out in 1973. And I'll never forget the terror that I felt when our rabbis stopped the service to tell us that Israel had been attacked. And that's the same fear, anger, and terror that I felt on Saturday when I heard about this, that again we're being attacked. All too often over the years, when people speak about the numerous terror attacks in Israel and the battle going on for the safety and security of Israel, they speak about the conflict. What is happening in Israel is not a conflict. A conflict is an argument, a disagreement, a clash. What is happening in Israel today is brutal war that has been waged on our homeland of Israel by a recognized terrorist organization, by Hamas. They have launched an unprecedented attack against Israel. The large-scale surprise attack by Gaza militants on Israel on Saturday has left over 1,000 Israelis dead, innocent children, infants, teens, women, and men who've done nothing other than try to live in our homeland. And on Saturday, when many Israelis were likely to have been asleep, sirens were heard as far as Tel Aviv as rockets flew over Israel. There was a music festival in the south where they were celebrating Israeli music and culture, where they were deliberately and brutally attacked, and more than 260 innocent people were murdered. And today we've come together to mourn for those who've been killed, to cry out against terrorism, and to show our support and our love for Israel, and to pray for peace. That's what we want. We want to pray for peace and to show that we as Jews will always rise up. We will always pray for peace. Although all of us here tonight come from many different places and backgrounds, we all share one thing. My children's father lives in Israel, as do their grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncle. And we each feel an almost indescribable connection to the land of Israel. Some of us here tonight have traveled in Israel. Some have lived in Israel. Some have been there on birthright trips. Some have done year abroad programs. Some of us have family living in Israel. Others of us have many friends there. And others think of our deep ties and connections with the Israelis that we've met and traveled with. And even for those of us who've never been there before, somehow we feel a deep connection and tie to Israel. One of our students here described it best when he said, "When I was a little boy, my father told me that there was a country for the Jewish people. And ever since that day, I knew that I had to go there." Every year during Passover, we recount the story of the Exodus from Egypt and how we were brought out of the land of Egypt and freed from slavery and began a period of wandering in the desert until ultimately we entered our promised land. Our home is a Jewish people, the land of Israel, over 2,000 years ago. And now, over 2,000 years later, we still celebrate that journey to Israel and celebrate the modern state of Israel and our right and our responsibility to love and support our homeland. So once again, let us all say together, Am Yisrael Chai!
Am Yisrael Chai!
We will not stand idly by. We are proud and loud, and we are going to continue to be loud and proud. Noam and